Hello crafty friends, this is the Paper Chef here. Welcome to part 3 of my Hello Beautiful workshop series here on YouTube. Today we're going to create this box, and I'm calling it a mask box because I just love this sentiment that says I miss your face, because you might not have been able to see all your friends' faces with all the masks on. Now, it's not that I want to keep the mask thing going because I'm totally happy it's over in most places. However, I think that we're going to still be using them. Like every time we go to a medical center, even when you don't have to wear them at stores and things, you still have to wear them at medical centers. And I think that might continue for a while, you know. So it's still going to be good to give people a mask as a gift, and even to say, I miss your face. So you could also put other things in this box. Of course, treats, trinkets, and crafts. Okay, let me just tell you a little bit about my series and something else going on at Stampin' Up! That I must mention, because today is a big day for demonstrators. All right, so first thing I'm going to mention is this. My Hello Beautiful workshop series is based on, I always call it the stamp set that I'm basing it on. So whenever I have a workshop series on YouTube, and I've done several, it's based on a stamp set. So this is a Hello Beautiful stamp set. That's the stamp set. And then the dies, which are part of the Hello Beautiful bundle. So this is what the whole workshop series is based on. If you have these things, and then my kit, well, not doing the kits anymore, but you know, those of you that have it are going to be able to create all these projects, and if not, just follow along with whichever materials you have. These tutorials are freely available. So I'm going to be using this sentiment here. I miss your face. Where's it at? Where is it at? There it is. We're going to use this sentiment here. And then we're going to use this die from the Beautiful Shapes die. So this is what you need for it. So these are what you would need to follow along with this workshop series. But of course, when I say what you need is a die, you can follow along with any die, because you're going to be needing something to make a window. So use whatever materials you have, right? But what comes in your kit, and what I've been focusing on this, and I'm going to share all the projects at the end of this and more, because I actually created another short course. So this Abstract Beauty Suite collection contains this Hello Beautiful bundle, hexagon, adhesive backed hexagons, Abstract Beauty cards and envelopes, Abstract Beauty ephemera, and Abstract Beauty Designer Series paper. Okay, so and I've gone through this every time, every tutorial, but we're just going to use this. I'm not going to open up the whole pack of paper right now. We're just going to use this piece of paper. Maybe I'll make an extra box here. Maybe I'll make an extra window. I don't have all the paper like in a package right now, but let me see. Maybe we'll do another top of the box, something that'll go with the Magenta Madness. Okay, this paper is awesome. You get 48 sheets in a pack, and it's a different size now. Not now, but just this particular one's a different size. This is the 4x6 Designer Series paper. Oh, that's going to be a nice one. Okay, we're going to do one. We'll do one with that pattern. The other paper is either 12x12, the other paper that we sell, or it's 6x6. This is the only paper we have that's 4x6. All right, now I need to say something before we go on, because this is an exciting day for demonstrators. And I have some props here to show you. This is not going to be the greatest picture because I had to use my printer. My printer's not doing this justice, but these are our 5 new colors. Our 5 new in colors, and they're going to be coming out in May, and this will be in my newsletter tonight. So if you want the newsletter, go to the Stampin' Up, paperchef.stampinup.net, which is in the description of this video, and then scroll down on the homepage, and it says subscribe to newsletter, because I'll also have coupons for my ScanNCut courses in there. And I'll be talking about the last chance sale as items are retiring. So these new colors are going to be around for 2 years. I really like this graphic that came out today, where they're showing us how all these colors go so well together in one graphic. All right, so this is called Tahitian Tide, the first color. The next color over here is called Orchid Oasis. Orchid Oasis. And then we have Sweet Sorbet in the middle. Starry Sky down here, and this one is called Parakeet Party. This reminds me of a color we had a few years ago that I really lamented it retiring, and it was called Lemon Lime Twist. And for that whole time, that Lemon Lime Twist was my favorite color. But now I'm liking this Tahitian Tide. That's going to be my favorite right now. And I'm going to have an in color club, and then you're going to be able to collect all the colors and accessories over a 5-month period. I've just started. This was last year, so none of these things are going to be the same. But I mean, I'm going to just have like a 5-month in color club. But I'm not sure what it's going to cost yet or what items are going to be included because I haven't seen the catalog yet. For demonstrators, we're allowed to see the catalog at 1 p.m. Mountain Time today. All right, so what you're going to do now is take your, so let's start making boxes, right? So I want to tell you a couple things about your trimmer. So your trimmer, you have a blade on your trimmer, right? So it comes with a blade. And it also comes with a scoring tool. But I don't use my scoring tool. I put 2 blades on my trimmer. I just want to show you what that looks like though, because I want you to know that you don't need this simply scored here. You can use your trimmer. So if you take out one of the blades, I just keep 2 on there all the time because I'm always cutting paper for paper shares and things. And you put the little gray one that came with your, I just put an S on it to show that it's scored. You put the gray one on there and it's not a blade. It has a little scoring tool so you can make your boxes that way. So I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to be doing it with this simply scored. All right, just so you know. So let's take a piece of Magenta Madness, and you have this bag where you have that in your kit, and it was like a Just Jade, Magenta Madness, and you're going to use Balmy Blue and Magenta Madness. So let's first do the measurements for the top of the box. I'm going to go ahead and make 2 at once. I won't finish completely making 2 at once, but we'll make 2 at once. So the top of the box is going to be, let's make this side 5 3/4. Okay, 5 3/4. Let's go ahead and cut that. And then it's gonna be by 4 inches. So we'll just go ahead and make a couple of these. You could have cut it the other way. It doesn't matter which way you cut it. But it depends. Do you want to make a card out of Magenta Madness? Then cut it the other way. Like here's the piece I have left over from using 1 piece of cardstock earlier. So if you want to make a card out of your Magenta Madness, don't cut it the way I showed you. Cut it like, vertically so you have enough for a card later. But either way, you need 4 by 5 3/4. I'm going to go ahead and make a couple of these. We'll write this down in a minute after I do the scoring. Okay, so that's the top of the box. Okay, 4 by 5 3/4. All right, now we have some scraps left over. I'm going to take all my scraps and I'm going to put them in my little basket here. You're also going to need a window sheet because the window sheet is going to be used. See, this is a piece of the window sheet. That's also in your kit. I give you everything in your kit. My kits are loaded with lots of useful items. Listed and not listed. I give lots of crafty goodness in my kits. All right, now we're going to, but you don't need a kit to follow along because I put most of my stuff on YouTube. In this one particular suite, I did end up creating a course for Skillshare, another platform. But most of my courses are right here on YouTube, and they're open to everybody. All right, so let's see. 5. All right, now we're going to need this to be, let's see, 7 and 11/16. So we're going to go ahead and do that side first. We're going to have to open this up. Let's go ahead and let me see how I'm going to do this. I'm going to do 7 and 11/16. So, okay, so we need to open up, you're going to open up your trimmer and open it up. So we're going to go up to 7 and, okay, so 11/16 of an inch. Okay, so let's just kind of break this down. I need to make, if you were just to make a box, your top always needs to be a 1/16 of an inch bigger than the bottom of the box. And we've done this many times on my channel, so I hope that part is clear. That if you were to take the same two pieces and your lid was going to fit right over the box and you weren't going to have any extra, I'm going to just kind of go, if you didn't want to have this whole part sticking out down the bottom, you're always going to make your lid be 1/16 of an inch bigger than the bottom. So what I needed to do when I was experimenting is account for that. So this is going to be, so bottom line is the top is 1/16 of an inch bigger. However, I'm also scoring around the sides and I'm making the bottom stick out because I'm trying to fit a mask in here. So that's why my measurements are going to be 7 and 11/16 of an inch. So we have, and 1/2 inch is 8/16 of an inch, right? These are broken down in 1/16 of an inch. So we have 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay? So it's almost 3/4 of an inch is what it is. 7 and 11/16. Well, again, I'll write this down for you. Don't worry. not to worry. Okay. And then we're going to turn it, and I'm going to make it 5 and 15/16 of an inch. So in other words, almost up to the 6-inch point. Okay. So that way the bottom of the box is going to be, it's really a 1/16 of an inch smaller than the top, but it's also going to be scored and everything. So we'll just do one bottom for now because I need another piece of balmy blue to get 2 bottoms out of this. All right, so but I can do 2 tops of the box at least while I'm here. It'll help for teaching purposes. So now I need to write some stuff down for you before scoring so we're not all confused. Right? And because I don't know when I'll get to the write-ups of these because I'm super busy person, so I always like to write my notes here. And then later I go back and I actually watch my own videos to get the measurements, or if I can't find my notes. I usually have good notes, but sometimes I don't have good notes, and I'm like looking for my own notes, and I say, okay, I better go back to my video and watch it. So we have the top of the box, and it's going to be Magenta Madness. That's the color. All right, and the bottom of the box is going to be Balmy Blue. All right, so first we'll talk about before we talk about how to score it, we'll talk about like how to cut it, right? So top and bottom. All right, now let's see if we can change pens here. We'll use a black pen. All right, so we're gonna have the measurements for the top of the box are, and I'm gonna do length first, right? So 5 3/4 inch by 4 inches. And then the bottom of the box, 7 and 11/16 of an inch. Luckily, our Stampin' Up! Trimmer goes by 1/16 of an inch times 5 and 15/16 of an inch. So in other words, almost 6 inches for that. Okay, so now we're going to have the scoring. Okay, so we'll use maybe a different color here see if I have a different color. Okay, well, we'll just go here for a second. I just want to make sure what I did here. Scoring. Okay, make sure. Just what did I do? 7/8. Okay, just making sure. Score. At 7/8 of an inch. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's make the top of the box. All right. It's been a while since I did my sample, so I always have to check on everything. We don't need this piece. So this is a 1 inch. Now I'm using the Simply Scored. Okay, so see, this is a Simply Scored. I really like this for box making, and it's just what I prefer over the trimmer. It's much more accurate. So I'm going to do 7/8 of an inch. So there's the 1 inch mark. It's the tall one, and I'm going to go to 7/8. Okay. Oops, I better leave this down because it's not something you want to do up in the air. Okay, so let's take your smaller side of the scoring tool and go like that. And then it's the same all around. When you make a box, you just turn it and just do 7/8 of an inch all around. Alrighty. We are styling. So now let me see what I did for this one. Pretty sure I did the same thing. Okay, so let me just go like this. And we're just gonna do the little bits. Okay, we're gonna do the window in a minute. But first what you wanna do is you're gonna just take your bone folder or your little spatula and you kind of burnish all the edges. Right, like that. We're not going to glue anything yet because we need to run this through the die cutting machine. But it's very important to do this part. We can go ahead and cut little bits out of it too. So it's called mitering the edges. But we don't want to, don't like glue anything up yet because it has to roll flat through the die cutting machine. But I just want to show you what you do here. Okay, so I'm going like that. So it's called mitering the edges, and it just gives us that little bit of, and you're going to do it to the side. Up, a little bit of an angle. You'll notice that when I create boxes using in my ScanNCut courses, where I teach you how to make boxes from scratch, I'm always doing this using like little triangles and little, or not really triangles, whatever these little shapes are called. Little trapezoid shapes, and we weld things together. And we're doing this as well. We're just not doing it manually. So it's good to learn how to make boxes manually before you start making them electronically. It helps you understand the process a lot more. Alrighty. So now let's see what we're doing here. Let's see, we're going to take the inside of the box, right? And this is the concept here. We're going like, so we're going to go like 1 and 7. I just want to kind of show you what we're doing here. Okay, so we want this to be, let me just kind of put this back into perspective so you can kind of design your own boxes. So we want this to be like, not just, we want this to cover it, but we also want this to be like taller, right? This part, so you can see this part. But so we want to be able to score it deeper within so that it folds up like 2 inches on each side, right? So, or almost 2 inches on each side, right? So I'm putting this in the center just to kind of show you that we're scoring, instead of the 7/8 of an inch, right? We're going to be going 1 and 7/8, right? Around every side. Okay. Oops, oopsie daisy. Let's see. 1 and 7/8. 1 and 7/8. Wait a bit. Make sure I do this right. Yes, we're doing good. Yes, I'm doing this right. Okay, 1 and 7/8. All right, so what we're getting is we're going to be getting that same part in the middle. Like, I hope you can see that, right? We're getting the same part in the middle that the top of the box has, except that this part, because it's the top of the box, is 1/16 inch bigger. This whole middle part is 1/16 of an inch bigger because it's going to fit over the top of that. Okay, so when you're doing your measurements, that's something to think about. You always want your top of the box to kind of loosely fit over the bottom of your box. All right, so let's do this. Let's burnish all the edges. Now, this part, we're going to do that same thing we did before with your little trimmers, snippy snips. Okay. And they're called paper snips. They're not called snippy snips, but they're called paper snips. They're really fine scissors, really fine. I like using them for box making, as opposed to my cheaper scissors, which I'll be using for, like, you know, cutting plastic or something. I have a couple pairs of these. One is sharper than others. This is the one that's not as sharp, and I use it to cut ribbons and things. Okay, so we're doing this to all the... All right, and this side. Now, we're going to go ahead and glue the edges. So you want to test it first, kind of test it. So go like this. Okay, test your box. Test your lid. Remember, don't glue your lid yet. We're only gluing the bottom. But you do want to do the little test here before you go through all the work of making the lid. So here we go. This is how you test your box. This was all my experiment. I experiment, so you don't have to. I think that should be the motto of my channel. Voila. Magic, right? So those are the measurements. Those were correct. So let's now do the gluing at the bottom. We're happy with it is, and then keep this. We'll do another top and one before we do the die cutting. All right, so keep that there. Now you got your measurements. You got your little, these are called smidgens. You got your little smidgen pieces you cut off. So now get some glue out, and you could use rolling adhesive. You can use, I mean, sometimes I like to use like tear and tape if you got a big box like this. But because we're kind of going old school here, right? Let's get out my supplies here. Just going old school. You could use these, right? You could use these rolling adhesive. It would be a lot quicker. Maybe we'll do that. But we do want to use some glue. We'll use glue for the top part because I want to show you how to use these little clamps. These clamps make it easy. They make things easy to adhere because it helps the glue dry. But since we have such big flaps, we can go ahead and use Seal Plus. Seal Plus adhesive. Alrighty then. I haven't looked at my screen in a while. I hope you guys are saying hi when you come in. And all right, so let's go here and just come in. You're gonna just go like that, right? And you're gonna do this flap. And then this flap and this flap. Okay, put them in there. Try not to get them to seal prematurely here, so make sure you seal it with your hands. Now, because we did that thing called the mitering the edges, that's what I was doing. Now we don't have these parts of the box sticking out. If you don't miter the edges, I'm just going to rub these. I'm giving them a rub. Okay. If you don't miter the edges, right, what happens is when you make a box, if you don't cut those little triangle things, then what happens is this. You go to seal your box, and then these little parts stick out like that, and it's kind of goofy looking. So you'll have that little effect of it sticking out, and then you have to trim it later. So it's kind of goofy looking. So that's why we do that. All right, I'd like to make another box top. I did make another box top, actually. I'd like to score that box top that we made because then I can run, and then if I have any die cutting trouble, I have an extra box top here. And if I want, that way I have two box tops. And I can make the bottom of the box later in a different color or in balmy blue. And I'll be golden. All right, so score it 7/8 of an inch. And that goes for this one too. We scored it, except for this one, we scored it 1 7/8. So let's go 7/8. We'll write down that measurement on the paper in a minute. 7/8. All right. I'm not going to do the little mitering part, but you have to do this part before you run it through the die cutting machine so you can center your DSP properly. All right, so let's do it. Now let's take a piece of DSP, and let me go ahead and finish writing the measurements in a different color here. So score at 1 7/8, all sides evenly. Alrighty, put this, we don't need the ink yet. I'm looking at see which tools we need. We don't need this yet. I have everything we need here, but not till late. We don't need those other things till later. We need the trimmer again, because we need to get the pieces of DSP cut for our, so we want a little margin. Isn't that cute? Around the edge of the box so you can see the little margin. And so we have two pieces of DSP. We can cut them at once. This is the color I'm going to be using for the project, and then this is my extra one. We're going to make two of them at once. 3 3/4. The paper's only 4 inches wide, so 3 3/4. Okay, oh wait, can you see that? Okay, 3 3/4. I'm just taking a little smidgen off. All right? Thank you. I'm glad you like the box we're making, Denise. Okay. All right, so now we're going to go 2 inches wide. 2 inches wide. And I'm only making 2 of these right now, so I'm going to save this paper for later. Let's just make sure I got it right. Okay, good. See what we did here? That's what we did here. Saving these for later. Now, we need to write that down. That's going to be, so when you go ahead and you die cut through there, it's going to give us that cute little margin. So we have now bottom of the box. Now we have DSP for the top here. Let's erase that a little bit. So you can see it's not a P, it's a D. Designer Series paper. Okay, we'll call it Abstract Beauty. In case you're just watching this and you don't have these supplies, Beauty. And it was 3 3/4. Oops, we're going to use a different color though. I like to change up the colors. Let's use the black one. 3 3/4 times 2 inches. All right, and now we're going to do the, oh no, we don't need a window. We're not cutting a hole in the window, so we don't need the window yet. So my little trick for this is even though we're going to use, glue on this later, my little trick is going to be to take a little piece of your seal, right? Just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. Now I'm singing Aretha Franklin, right? All right, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Okay, see what I'm doing? I hope I got the light right. I'm just putting it right where it goes with that little bit of seal plus adhesive. Because later I'm going to pull that off and I'm going to glue it. But you don't want to use glue now. Never use glue. It'll gunk up your metal dies. And you'll have like a heck of a time getting the glue off your metal dies. I mean, the other thing you could do is washi tape. But washi tape sometimes rips your paper unless you sort of use it as a lint remover. And so there you go. So kind of rub that on there. Now it's not going to slip, right? Let's do that again here. Don't want things to slip. A bit of adhesive. Put that there. All right, so when I saw this little, I don't know where I put the adhesive. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. When I saw this die, I thought this would make a great window. And there's another thing we're making. We're going to make shaker cards out of the hexagons. I thought that would make a good shaker card. But when I saw this, I was like, that would make a good wonky window. I call it wonky window because it's kind of like wonky. It looks like if you want to make tissue boxes or tissue covers, I think that would make a cute little box for tissues too. It's a nice little wonky window. So that's what we're doing. So it's what we're putting through both. Now we need to cut both at the same time, right? It has to, you want this to be exact, so it's going to cut through the designer series paper at the same time as it cuts through the cardstock. And it will, because that's how I did it in my experimentation. I just need to grab my machine and put that over closer. We're using this machine here, and I need to raise my tripod a bit so that you can kind of see the sandwich. And I don't mean sandwich like peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I mean the die cutting sandwich. So when you're die cutting, you're going to use a sandwich. Opening up the machine, and you're going to use, let's use this platform. Okay, this is the platform 1. We're using thin dies, so we need the thin die adapter, platform 2. We need a number 3 because we're cutting thin dies. And then we need another number 3 for the top of our sandwich. Okay, so we need, I might use this, I think I'm going to use this one because it's not as scratched. Because we don't want to indent our paper, we don't really want to indent the die into like, if you use a scratch one on the top, you could kind of indent your paper a little bit. Now, we're going to put this down, and we're going to roll it through. We're going to put this on there, and you're going to lower this top plate down. Right, just center it a bit. Center it, it's going to go through both of them, and then you're going to lower the plate, and hopefully nothing slips. But I don't want to use painter's tape because when I did in my experimentation, and you have to open the back of your machine, by the way, or you can't crank it. If you're trying to crank it and it's not going through, your back of your machine's not open. Now, any reason that I didn't tape it is because when I taped it during my experimentation, it rips the designer series paper. so we don't want to tape it. Okay, voila, we have our box. We have our window. Now save these really cool things in your bucket of crafty goodness, which I have over here. When I say bucket of crafty goodness, if you're not familiar with my channel, it's where you save all the pieces that have to do with one suite. So these are all my ephemera and some other pieces and hexagons I've cut out with the die cutting. You know, all these things are ready to go. So save all these pieces because look at that cool little indentation right in the middle. That's a really cool shape. You can totally use that for the card. All right, now we're here, and now we're going to go backwards through it. Instead of starting back at this side, just stick it on that side, right? Stick it on that side. Stick your die down there. Put your top plate on there. And roll it back through. So when I'm die cutting, I just kind of take turns going one direction, then the other direction. Or you could start back at the middle. I mean, you could start back at this side if you wanted to. Okay, when that's all the die cutting we're doing because this part is not die cut. These are all part of our ephemera pack. This is ephemera, 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 all this stuff. So we don't need to do any more die cutting after this. So let's go ahead and put that machine away, away, away. And there's our little shapes that we're going to put in our bucket of crafty goodness. And now we're going to glue this piece onto the top. And now I can kind of lower, I think I can lower my tripod again so you can see the measurements better. I don't know, now my camera went a little bit wonky. Here we go. Sorry. So sorry. All right, we're going to glue. I'm putting this away. And so my little trick is just having a little magnet. These are just stamp cases, which I'm going to be stocking up on. This one's a piece of magnet that we don't sell the magnet, but you can get vent covers, V-E-N-T, vent covers at a home supply store and put them inside a stamp case and store your dies that way. Or you can get the, like, We Are Memory Keepers. Is it We Are Memory Keepers? I think it might not be called that. There's a brand that makes these really cool boxes with magnetic sheets on them. Anyway, I'm just trying to get around there. And I'm not trying to get to the edges yet. I'm going to do that with this piece here. I'll lift up that other piece too that got cut. I mean that I used the paper for. I just don't want to rip it. So I'm going to stick this side first here. So I'm using glue and then I'll lift up the other end and glue it. See, so I didn't want to put glue out to the edge because I didn't want it to like ooze out. You don't want to put it too close to the edge. All right, that side's staying pretty well. The side that I used the Seal Plus on, I can't really get that off because it's kind of stuck on there. So that corner's good. I'm good to go with that corner. Then go around like this and get any glue out that might be in the middle. Sort of let this dry. Make sure no glue is oozing out inside there because that's where you can put your window sheet. Alrighty. So like I said, this little piece looks like it stayed, this little corner. So I don't need to use any more glue in that corner. I'm just using liquid glue in the rest of it. And the reason I'm using liquid glue is because good luck trying to get in there with your Seal Plus, right, afterwards. Trying to get in there with the Seal Plus when it's upside down like that, no. Easy to use liquid. Which side do I have to lift up? There we go. So, happy with these. Now we'll go ahead and miter the edges on this one. Or we don't have to, actually, because we know how to do it. You know how to do that part. I'm gonna make that lid later. We now need to get our trimmer and that little piece of window sheet. Okay, and the window sheet is the same as this. So, because you need that little margin inside your box. So it's the same as what we did here. So it's the same as the DSP, the Abstract Beauty. All right, so we need the window sheet. Where'd it go? It's translucent. I can't find it. Here it is. So 3 3/4. Let's see if this side's already 3 3/4. Okay, good. Pretty close. I'm just going to go with it. 3 3/4 by 2 inches. And we'll do a couple windows. Notice I'm using my dull blade. That's the dull blade I use for, see, that's the size I'm making the window for the inside. The dull blade is better for cutting plastic, and that's why I keep a dull blade on here. These are window sheets that come in a pack of 2 for $5, and you get they're 12 inches, and they're really nice and thick plastic. Okay, and we're going to put that down. And now you want to use your Seal Plus. Oh, and I sometimes get like adhesive on my things, and sometimes, I'm just going to see if I have a little baby wipe or a napkin here. A dry baby wipe, not a wet baby wipe. I'm just going to see if I can get this adhesive off. This is just a paper towel, but I sometimes like to get that extra little stuff off of my window. My window is cloudy. All right, so now I'm going to put the Seal Plus right on here. Right real close to my window. Don't use glue for the window sheet. I don't think it'll work good. You're better off using Seal Plus. And then you can still get the little bits off like this. Sometimes I just use it and I bend it over like that. So that way there's like nothing sticking out the inside window. Okay, so I'm just going around in a circle like that, and then I'm kind of flipping these little pieces over. Because I like the Seal Plus, it has these nice little ridges. You could use glue on the window sheet. It's not that glue won't work on the plastic part, but it just oozes out the side and it makes a bit mess, and it takes a long time to dry. So this is like instant dry and instant window. So my trick for this is this. So now that I have that done, I don't put the window in yet. I just sort of go like that, like with one corner. See that? And then I put the window in, because it helps me to make sure it gets centered right. All this dust on there. I had one of those dryer sheets that helps get rid of the static cling on these guys. Okay, so there you go. And then give it a rub. Now, if you wanted to cover it up, like if you cared about covering that up, you could put another piece of nice designer series paper on the inside of that with the hole in it. But I mean, you don't need to. You can't see it. Isn't that pretty? So we have our window. Now I'm going to give you the little trick with these clamps. I think I got all that done. I'm going to do the stamping as well. So we still got a little bit more to do. So this is going to let's write and window sheet. Well, we just say and window. DSP and window sheet. I mean, why write the measurements twice? They're the same measurements. You're just kind of making it a little margin. You could actually go all the way out to a little bit more than 2 inches on the window sheet, but that's how to make your window for the box. Now we're going to take these little clamps, and we're going to take our little flaps, and you're going to put some glue on your flaps. And what I really like about these clamps is they help your box dry so quickly. So you just go like that, and you put your little clamps on there. Boom. These are from Harbor Freight, but then my crafty friends last time on YouTube were like, you can get these at the Dollar Tree. Okay, we'll get them at the Dollar Tree. Get them wherever you get them. It doesn't matter where you get them. They're awesome little clamps for making boxes. And then your box, then you can work on this side of the box while that's drying. And it doesn't take long to dry. But you have time to work on, you have your hands, it frees your hands, so you don't have to sit there and try to hold the box shut and like watch it fall open when you're trying to work with it. Okay, so let's put that there. Okay, and then this one should be done. One of these are done. Lift that one up. Put one over here. Move them around a little bit. Wiggle your lid. Now what I like to do before everything solidifies, I mean, it didn't take long to dry, right? They're already dry. But before everything solidifies, the glue solidifies, I like to get in there like this. Okay, take your clamps off and get in there and make sure your lid still fits over the bottom of your box, not too tight. But don't let it dry like that. It's pretty tight, but don't let it dry, right? Because then you might have glue oozing out the side, and I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. See, this is what I'm doing. I'm stretching it out as much as I can, a little bit, because it's a little tight. And that's why you don't want the glue to solidify. Because once it solidifies, you can't make the box any bigger. All right, so that's my little tricks for you. And then you're just going to stick it back on. And voila. So I'm going to show you now how to do the little sentiment. Yay, we have a box with a cute little lid, with a cute little window. And now let's take out our ephemera. And let's see, I could have used Night and Navy, but I took out the black because I think black will be fine, Memento Black. But I don't know if we have any. Maybe. So let's see. They both look so close, right? So if you're kind of new to stamping and you're like, I can't even get Memento Black because they don't have it. I mean, as of the other day, we didn't have it. I'm not kidding. We are a stamping company, but sometimes we run out of the very basics. And it's okay. We make do with what we have. Let's take this piece of ephemera, the one that's like this, and we'll stamp onto those. I miss your face. And let's go ahead and use my little silicone mat. So I just have this set up to use inside here. My little tray. Okay, I'm going to put that right there. Stamp on the stamping block. Some stamps get stained because if I used a kind of a reddish shade, they get stained. Okay, so this one we want to use, so I'm going to put that there. Flat side, put it on the stamping block, flat side up. Oh, here, we're going to use the Night and Navy or the black, either way. Something that'll contrast with that crushed curry. Tap, tap, tap into the ink, right? And then put it on your, okay, and that's a good thing I tested it because it was upside down. So I'm always testing it on my mat first. Okay, let's move that one out of the way. Let's move all this stuff out. I don't think we need these pens anymore. I don't think we need the pencil. Let's get some stuff out of the way here. All right, so it's kind of getting blurry because my hand is shaking or something. I don't know what's going on, but let me try to get this to not be blurry over here. All right, better. So now it's not blurry. I got it going on. I'm going to move this over, and I'm going to stamp it on here. I'm using the silicone. It's called a silicone craft sheet, or I think it's called that. Yay! Silicone craft sheet. It's a nice little thing we have to stamp onto. They're only like $5. It's a good thing to pop in your cart. I have a few of these. And then you can use it to work with your embossing paste and stuff like that. Embossing paste, not face. I was like embossing paste instead of paste because I was trying to rhyme with that word there. All right, so now what I did is I took these little glue dots. Like, I'm going to lay them down like I'm going to use them better this time. And I used this little ephemera that has this really translucent piece on it like this. So I did this. Now I took the little part off that was the little flag. I took that off. That was just my own personal preference. I mean, hey, you don't have to take it off. Let's see if I can't find my scissors that we were just using to make boxes with. Here they are. They're over here on my... Okay, my microphone took a nosedive. Let's put the microphone back on. All right, the scissors. What I'm going to do is that little piece of ephemera. I did it with this original one. I cut off this little piece, this little flag. I don't think I need the little flag. Okay, so it's like 3 little hearts, kind of like a thought balloon or whatever you call it. So we cut the bottom of that off. And everything's kind of wonky in this whole set, so don't worry that things aren't too straight. And now I'm just going to, if there's any little nibs sticking out the side, it's vellum. So then to hide my, oh, let's take these off to decorate them. So we're going to take this off, and then I'm going to hide the heart. Like I'm going to hide the glue dots behind those hearts. So what I like to do with this ephemera packs, when you pop stuff out, there's like little places. You could use a nail file, right? So you could just kind of shave these off like that, right? These little nibs. But I just like to take my scissors and sort of go like that. Now, you can see that I accidentally rubbed it a little bit. It's okay. It's all good. Give your stamps a chance to dry. We're going to get the little glue dots and put glue dots behind the hearts, behind a couple of the hearts, maybe 2 of the hearts. See, it hides them. That's why I chose to use this piece of ephemera, because the hearts help hide the glue dots. Come on, glue dots, don't give me trouble today. All right, there we go. See, I end up having them stick all over me when I'm done. Here we go. Put this on there. Oops, don't hide the word face. You know what I did? I had to cut a little piece of this off. I think I had to make it a little bit shorter. Or it was kind of covering, even though it's vellum and it's semi-translucent, you still don't want to cover up the word face. Because that's the point of the box, right? Yeah, something like that. Okay, so you can get a better look at that. That's how I did that one. And I'm going to use this dot here. I'm going to put it on there. Since it's already on my finger. All right, I have the dot saved. So you get the idea. Now, we're going to put this over here with some dimensionals. So I'm going to stick it down there. With this as part of, all this stuff is sticking to my box. That's when you use your static cling stuff. What are they called? Not static cling. The dryer sheets, right? Use the dryer sheets when things start sticking to your little plastic pieces. So I'm using a few mini dimensionals. Popping up this stuff here. I'm not using them on the window part, just on the bottom part. So I put it down here in the middle. And I put it right over the top of this part. See, I put it like right where the edge is. So you can still see the Magenta Madness behind it. And I sort of centered it. So I miss your face because it's a mask box. So we're going to put that there. And then a couple little cutesy things, right? These are just cutesy little ephemera. So that's why you have an ephemera pack. Just kind of go in there and get whatever floats your boat. See, but you don't want to really block that cute flower. Like, that's already such a cute flower. I don't mind blocking that one. So I'm going to put one up here in this corner. Maybe the orange one I'll put over there, but I don't know. It's such a cute flower, I don't really want to block that one. Maybe over here. Because then that one won't be blocked. This one's probably too big. I might be blocking my window. So let's see what else I could use. I could use the same one as I used before. Let's see about this one. And then I used a couple little hearts in the front. And a heart and a star. Mini dimensionals all the way. Yeah, it's okay to block that one because it's kind of the same kind of flower I'm putting over it. But I think I'm going to turn this one around. Turning the flower around to face the way that the paper is. You know, the same way it's going on the paper, like that. All right, oh cool, I like it. And now we just need a couple little things for the front, like a heart, like a star. And again, I always like to get those little nibs off. You know, when I'm doing this. And I decided to put a star and a heart on the front of the box. So again, I'm just going to show you that. We'll show you the mask too that I'm putting in here. So stick around. There's more projects to show you. But we're almost done this project. And then I have some other projects to show you. So put that one there. See how I did it? And then another little heart there. I'm just taking things out of the ephemera pack. I'm on my third ephemera pack. I said I'm going to try to use one. And then I opened up a second one. And now I'm already on my third one. But when you see all the cards I made, you'll understand how I use so much ephemera. Love it. Okay, and so I have a couple boxes because one box, hold on. I grabbed some little shreddy. One box I'm using for the person who has, like everyone who buys my kit, including those who bought the kit late, they get put into a drawing in my VIP Facebook group, and somebody wins every project I created in this entire series. Okay, so somebody wins those projects. So I'm making an extra one. This is going to be one of the ones that somebody wins because I made it here. And then I'm making an extra one, either this one or the original one, for my friend Sandra, who loves cherry blossoms. So before I show you the cherry blossom one that's in a package, I'm gonna give her a cherry blossom one for spring. But this is just my mask here that has my initials on it that someone gave me with the K, and see how that goes right in there. So we'll just do a black one just to show you this black one. Okay? And then I'll show you the really cute cherry blossom one. And then I'll show you the one that I think goes really well with the Abstract Beauty collection in there. But see if you do one that's initialized, that's the reason I wanted to put this one in there. That has the initial on it, somebody's initial. Look at that, you can put that through the window. Isn't that cool? So if you have a personalized mask, you can see through it. So that's one reason to have a window. Plus you could put like treats in there and stuff. All right, but for my friend, I'm going to open up the cherry blossom one. Okay, and there's a little, it doesn't have elastic, so I don't really know. Oh, it has elastic. Oh, you have to tie it. I was like, what is up with that? I don't know. I didn't look at it first, but I just like the pattern. Okay, and isn't that pretty? You should have to tie the little pieces of elastic, but look at that shining through with the flowers. And it goes like that. Okay, so you could see through that. So I just thought that was cool. And then this one I thought was really cool for this is going to be the one that somebody wins because it goes with the Abstract Beauty collection. Because I found a mask with hexagons on it. I guess you have to tie these. I guess you tie these the size you need them is what's up with the elastic bands. It's a good idea, actually, because I was like, my mom makes them, but she makes them with elastic already on them. But I didn't have time to get her to make these because I'm on a mission here. But I just wanted to show you that. So, of course, you could put treats in your box as well. But try to get something that's going to coordinate with the box that you're making and with the paper and the pattern and the collection, because that way it really makes it more relevant. So I do that drawing after my last, or right before my last final part of the series next month, because the series goes on to April. Then I will start the Waves of Happiness soon. Waves of, not happiness. Gosh, I already forgot. Waves of Inspiration. All right, let me say hi and show you my projects. Hope you like this little project we did. Hope you got all the measurements. Here we go. While I'm saying hi, you can write these down. And then I'm going to put stuff on top of there. You're not going to be able to see it. Oh boy, we already have a spammer. I know that's not you guys. I'm just talking about the spammer at the end. Hello, Donna from Ohio. Lara from Florida. Denise. Thank you, Denise, for your comment. And Hilda. Sani from Germany. V. Gates. Hello, Terry. And testing your stamp. Oh, yeah. Denise said she likes testing. She learned how to test the stamp from me. I see that most people don't test the stamp. They get on there, they take it out of the package, and they start stamping. I'm like, oh! Like I'm sitting there gasping, right? Because, I gasp because I watch people do that, and I say, oh my gosh, because I only have a few of these little pieces. And I'm like, oh no, and especially with my paper pumpkin kits. I'm like, I don't want to use my stamp on the little embellishments, and I only have a few of them. I'm like, oh no. Anyway, I digress. We were saying hi. All right. Marilyn. And yep. You test so your stamps aren't wonky. What I want to do, you guys, is show you what I've done in the series so far. And what we're doing for the rest of the series. All right, so and these are something I did in another program. So let me show you this series so far. We are on part 3. I'm trying to find what we did in part 1 and 2. Hold on. Part 1. Here we go. Part 1 in this series was an introduction to the Hello Beautiful bundle. And in that video, I showed you how to create these cards using DSP. I called them the Hello Beautiful Thank You Card Project. We use a piece of Pattern Party Designer Series paper in the background, 3 panels of Abstract Beauty Designer Series paper, I showed you how to ink up the hexagons using your blending brush. This is a blending brush, just to remind you of that. We did some blending on the sides and blending on the sentiments. Okay, so that's this card. It's called the Hello Beautiful Thank You card. I modeled these new cards I created since then using the same pattern that we learned about to make those cards. So here's some more cards using that same concept. And then in part 2, I want to show you the 4 cards we created in part 2. They were based on using the Abstract Beauty cards and envelopes, which are part of the suite, part of the Abstract Beauty suite. And we made these cards and envelopes, and you have at least 2 in your kit, so every one of these are going to be different. I showed you how to stamp the embellishment and do what's called off stamping, where things are lighter and different colors and different shades, so that we have different, so you can really see the sentiments and embellishments. We talked about raising the embellishments with dimensionals, some of them we used glue dots. And we did different colors of stamping and different shading. We did some ombre shading in some of these shapes that we die cut out. We did some ombre shading here. We did I Miss Your Face again on some of these. So every one of these are different, and each of them have a matching envelope. So there's a matching card. These are cards and envelopes, and I get asked a lot, are these already made? Yes, these are already made for us, these cards and envelopes. So we made 2 of those in that part 2. And then part 3, we just made the mask box. Okay, and so other things that are coming up in this series are learning how to watercolor the mini paper pumpkin box. Now you guys voted, I believe. I'm pretty sure you voted to have this mask box next, and that's why I did the mask box. And then I think you voted to have the shaker card after that. So we'll do shaker card next, and then I think I'll do that. And after shaker card, I'll probably do this note card and mini paper pumpkin box project. It's a watercoloring project. Another watercoloring project we're not sure if we're going to get to or do it at the same time or another time is this card here. It's a watercolor project, and you have watercolor paper in your kit and shimmery white cardstock. So I'm going to be showing you how to work with those materials. Okay, we're going to be doing, let me find the shaker card. This is what we're doing next. So that'll be part 4. We're making a shaker card using hexagons as the window. So it's similar making the window as we did now and tonight. And we'll embellish this. And you're going to be using your piece of Natural Touch Designer Series paper, maybe some other things. And then we're going to do watercolors. So that was part 4. Then that's part 5. And then we're going to be doing these cards. I'm not sure together or separate. Okay. And then we're going to be making tags and bookmarks. So we're making this together on the same video. Probably the last video of the series, because I usually do my tags last. And tag treats. So that's what you're going to be learning about in this series. I also made some other cards, and I want to show you those. So these are all made from another pattern. So this one I made with retired products. This is using some gold foil I had that was retired, and I just did it as a concept card, and you can see that I embossed the background. Now I do have a Skillshare. I teach on both Udemy and Skillshare and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. I teach on a lot of platforms. One of the things I do in my Skillshare courses, which are a little bit over an hour, they're either about an hour, give or take. They're an hour, and I walk you through one project at a time. So we walk through this simple thank you card project. And I showed you everything from scoring the cards to layering. I'll put a link to that in the description, Skillshare. And I'll be promoting it, Skillshare, more next month on my channel. But right now I have a lot going on, but I will put a link to this if you're interested in that. Skillshare is unlike Udemy. Udemy, you purchase the courses by themselves, and in Skillshare, you purchase subscriptions, and then you can watch thousands and thousands of hours of tutorials, not just mine, but from lots and lots of different people, and lots of creative topics, like watercoloring and different things. I personally have taken a lot of courses on the platform. So these are all just some more abstract beauty cards for you. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you. If you're new here, hope you subscribe to my channel. And that's all for now. This is the Paper Chef. We will see you next time.